I have had no one in any audience anywhere tell me it was a cool idea that machines were going to be given the power to kill me.
This is going to be the most important humanitarian disarmament issue of the coming decades. If we don't stop the development of killer robots now, it's going to be almost impossible to do so in the future.
We're only concerned with one part of robotics, and that's what I would call the kill function. So the idea that a robotic system could select a target on the crosshairs and kill it without human involvement. The robot essentially is being delegated the decision to kill, and that's what we're trying to ban.
It's not just banning a new weapon, it's banning a new method of warfare.
This sort of blinkered fantasy that Western states have, that we're going to have this technology, there's going to be bloodless war. Very soon other states will have it. And I would say there's going to be really rapid proliferation once they get out there. They're not that difficult to copy. I mean, I'm really stunned over the last 6 months that we had at least 24 nations discussing it, and nations speaking up now in the UN. France is going to put it into a UN committee for us, we hope. And it's now not some sort of fringe activity anymore.
I think the biggest challenge is going to be that some of the military are in love with the idea. These are big ticket items. It's billions of dollars already that are going to so-called defense industry, going to universities who are doing research on this, which I think is morally questionable. I think they're really excited about it, but not all of them. So we need to find those allies as well. But I think big bucks talk, and that's going to be one of the harder challenges.
Another aspect of this that creates both difficulties and opportunities is the fact they don't exist yet, and that we are looking for a preemptive ban. But the fact that we don't have demonstrated humanitarian harm. There are no victims to these weapons. You don't really have images of the weapons themselves, although we've got prototypes and precursors. So, and it's hard to convince people, at least at first, that this is something that they should make a priority. On the other hand, they don't exist yet, so there aren't a lot of entrenched policies. We're not fighting against something that's been embedded in military doctrine for decades and decades, hasn't been embedded in war plans for decades and decades. So there are advantages to it, but there are also campaigning challenges.
If you have a really very big movement of organizations and civil society pushing and doing advocacy and campaigning, you're going to have some states listening, and you can help and start a strong movement of states pushing other states.
Technology is moving increasingly and rapidly towards greater and greater autonomy. You've seen that with drones that are remotely controlled but are semi-autonomous. Generally, militaries like weapons they can control. And one concern about killer robots is the lack of control. Because they would be fully autonomous, there's actually been a lot of military opposition to these weapons as well.
Main problem here with robot killers that any mistake that means a human lives. When it's gonna make a mistake, that means it's gonna kill somebody or injure somebody or maim somebody. And here is the difference. This is not just a machine. It's gonna make in a kitchen and cooking wrongly or something like this. No, this is a machine. It's going to kill a human being.
Many young people will be interested because it is our future, and it's not people who are working on it right now who will experience the consequences. We need to grow bigger and get the youth involved. Stop the killer robots.
Write letters to your congresspeople, to your parliament. to your president. It takes broad involvement in various ways for civil society to pressure governments to do what they should be doing anyway.
All of the successful arms control and disarmament efforts of the past 2 decades, in fact, have been led by civil society. Only governments can draft and sign treaties, but civil society can play the key role in shaping them and making sure that they're enforced properly.